Keith, it's so
Hi.
great to have you on the podcast today.
Well, thanks. Great to be here.
And for those of you listening to the podcast rather than watching it on YouTube, Keith is on a boat. And we just discovered he is on a boat in my hometown of Oceanside, California, which is really exciting.
Well, they were doing a lot of construction in the office today, so I thought, what a great excuse to come down to the boat and work from the boat.
Well, this is a first for me. I've never interviewed someone on a boat before. So I don't know if it's going to be any different than any other interview, but
I
it's
should
kind of
tell you
exciting
about
to see
this.
your background.
I haven't started drinking rum yet.
That is missing. It is almost 4 o'clock, too. Well, I am really excited to have you on the podcast because we've done so many interviews and a lot of episodes around digital marketing. But a lot of the colleges that we work with do a lot of traditional and direct mail, and that is your expertise. So I'm
Yes,
really
it is.
excited to talk to you about that today.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to talk about it. It's one of the things right now. Direct mail's making a huge comeback, and not only in education, but across almost all industries. But when you look at the variety of different audiences in the education industry, especially higher education, it works very well because you really, because of how targeted it is, you can have different designs, different messages to each of your individual markets. So it makes it extremely effective. Whereas in a lot of digital programs, you don't really know for sure who will be seeing the ad. You might have different selects put in, but anybody can see those ads. And in direct mail, you have a lot more control over who's actually getting each version.
Right. In fact, just today I was talking to a client who we're recording this and it's May 1st, and they want to market summer classes to parents of high school students. And the first thing I thought is direct mail. Like, that's the way we're going to
Mm-hmm.
reach them because we're going to be able to find out those households in your area that have teenagers at home.
Well, yeah, and when you look at the amount of data that is available associated to a postal address versus an online persona, it's enormous. There's 1,500 different fields of information associated with a postal address and the people within that household, where it might just be a couple hundred of different fields of digital information or demographic information that would be associated with a digital ID. When you look at all of the purchases that take place in a home versus just online or a certain account or under a certain IP, you have a tremendous amount of activity to draw from. You have all the credit card information, you have the actual house information, you have all of the people within the household. So everything is combined into this one household. So it gives you a really deep breadth of information to draw your data from.
What are some of those fields that we can ask for? I mean, we know, like, for example, I know I can ask for households with teenagers. And what are
Yep.
some of the other things that you see your clients asking for when running campaigns?
Well, you have all the basic demographics. Those, that's a given. So you have income, you have home value, presence of children, ages of children. You have net worth, income. But then when you start to get into lifestyle information, it opens up a whole new range. So now you have people that are into fitness, are into health, well-being, um, different activities, different. They might be into music. They might be into listening to music. They might be into playing the music, spectator sports, playing sports, the types of cars they drive, the distance they are from different schools. Um, whether a lot of them, there's lists that are associated with um, ADA members, so people that have certain disabilities, things like that, that would open them up for new opportunities and new programs within a school. So all these different lists are available that help you identify people that would be the best possible prospects for certain unique programs that these schools offer. So if schools are offering something unique and different, it's a great way for them to be able to marry that to somebody that would be likely to take advantage of that program.
Oh yeah. Do they have boat owners on their list?
Yes. Yes. As a matter of fact, we're actually talking to a satellite internet company about identifying all the people that have boats over 25 feet in the country so they can target them with satellite internet technology.
Wow, that's fascinating. And I love this. I love how granular you can get with the targeting because the type of success that we're seeing in campaigns really are those campaigns that take a particular program and then try to find individuals who are most likely to be interested in that program. So 5 or 10 years ago, our colleges were all about brand marketing. They're just throwing their name out as often as they can. But now they're coming to us and they're saying, we have a new class to certify people to be breastfeeding nutritionists. And so then we have to think like, okay, what type of person wants to get certified to be like a nutritionist for a woman who is breastfeeding? And so you can help identify maybe lifestyle interests and things like, nutrition and gender and age that might help narrow it down so you could do more targeted marketing.
Absolutely. And a lot of it, most of it is self-reported. So these would be people that are into natural living, healthy living, have already expressed interest in homeopathic remedies, things like that, where this would fall right into their existing interests and certain age ranges. And then we can also combine that with distance as well as drive time to the university or the college.
Oh, that's a great tip. I had never thought about distance and drive time, particularly for programs that are in person.
Yep. And one of the key things about drive time is here, uh, something could be 15 miles away or 20 miles away, but if it's in a certain traffic pattern,
Yeah.
it
If you're
could
in
take
Southern
1 hour.
California.
Like people always ask how far is something, and when you're in rural Nevada or Nebraska or Kansas, you say, it's 40 miles away, so it's
Right.
about 40 minutes. In Southern California, 15 miles away could be an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So being able to determine drive time is really, really important. So it's not just distance radius, but being able to apply a drive time filter on top of that really helps with the targeting as well.
Wow, what a fascinating thing. I have never even considered a drive time filter. That's fascinating.
We actually came up with that about, this is when I had my own data company 28 years ago. We applied a drive time filter to
Yeah.
our data. It became very, very popular.
I mean, that is even if you're in a big metropolitan area, that's even a message that you could incorporate into the mail piece itself. Like we are within a half an hour drive time or we're just 15 minutes
Oh, we've
away.
we've done that before, to where we've done bands around the location based on the different drive time. So we pull everybody that was in 10 minutes got this message, everybody who was in 20 minutes got this message, everybody that was in 30 minutes got this message. So everybody could get a unique message associated with how far the distance is from the location.
Wow, that's fantastic. What a great idea. Talk about segmentation. I mean, now you're drawing, circles around distance and changing just one little message to make it more personalized. And that personalization is becoming more and more important in marketing. Everybody's inundated with marketing messages right now. So the more personalized you can make it, the better.
And the best thing about direct mail is nobody's getting deluged right now with too much direct mail.
Yeah.
So we used to get 30, 40, 50 pieces a day in the mail. Now people get 3, 4, 5, 6. So the likelihood of that mail piece being read is much, much higher than it's ever been.
Yeah. Interesting. All these databases that you mine data from, are they from credit cards? Like, where does all this information come from?
No, the data comes from hundreds of different sources. And credit card companies don't like say, hey, here's everything that you bought.
Right.
So we know Cheryl bought all this stuff last month. No, what They're classifications. So they know that if you're buying healthy foods, or you're spending money on international travel, they know that you're into international travel. So you would get classified as somebody who travels international. If you're into you buy season tickets for sports or theater, music, you're classified as a music listener, sports spectator, those types of things. A lot of the information comes from loyalty programs from markets. They always say you are what you eat.
Right.
Imagine what Ralph's can put together and Vons can put together based on what we buy at the store.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they now know whether you're a vegan, a vegetarian, a pescatarian. If you buy chips and beer on Sunday morning in the fall, you're a football fan. So they start to build all these models out, and they're able to do that very, very effectively. You start buying prenatal vitamins. Baby's on the way. And now it's
Oh.
diapers, the baby's here. So they start to build all these models off of what we buy in the market.
So those
We buy
loyalty programs, you put your phone number in at like Ralph's or Vaughn's. I mean, you're not just like saving a little bit of money, but they're tracking the type of things that you
Oh,
buy.
yeah, they're paying you for the data.
Yeah.
That's what they do. So that way they can turn around and sell that to all the large data
Wow.
companies. Here's another thing: warranties. The warranty on your television. They don't you don't need the warranty card. All you need is the receipt from where you bought your TV at Costco, and you show them the receipt. It's under warranty. That's it. If you get the extended warranty, it's on your receipt too from Costco or whatever store you buy it. Look at the questions they ask you on those warranty cards. What do you like watching on TV? Do you like watching movies? Do you like watching sports? What kind of sports do you like watching? What kind of movies do you like watching? Do you have a home theater at home?
Mm.
If you put no, imagine who you're going to start getting ads from. All the
Right.
local home theater companies are going to want to sell you home theater systems. And they ask you what your cable provider is. So if you say Spectrum, you're going to get offers from everybody else.
Yeah.
So they sell that data. And that's just another data acquisition point. So surveys, sweepstakes, census data, all that is all compiled in these files.
That's fascinating. We just had a Total Wine open in Encinitas, and so for so we'll talk in time because I'm in
Was
Southern
that the one
California.
at Encinitas Ranch Golf Course?
Yeah, it's no, it's actually by the Target in Encinitas, off what is it, Locadia Boulevard and El Camino Real. So it's like this giant new wine store.
Oh, it's a store. I thought it was a wine event that they have at
No, it's a
Encinitas
big
Ranch every
store,
year.
and
Okay.
it's got like every wine. It's more than wine. It's like a Costco for alcohol, and it's like 8 miles from Oceanside, which could be 12 minutes or it could be 45, depending on the day
Right.
and the time.
Yep.
And I started to get all these coupons for Total Wine. And I just was like, oh, wow, Total Wine must be just like blanket mailing all of North County, San Diego with their new store.
Oh
But
no,
now it
they
makes
know you
sense because
drink
I
wine.
probably buy so much wine at Vaughn's that Total Wine's like, let's send her some coupons. And it
My
got
wife
me to drive down
my
there.
wife's getting them too.
By the way, if you should go there. You're not that far. It's a great store, really good deals.
I like Bev.
Bevmo, yeah. It's like
Yes,
Bevmo on steroids. Like it's a whole nother
I like
level.
rum.
Yeah. That fits the boat.
Absolutely.
Well, I love that. So, these are type of things clearly in digital marketing, you have a lot of targeting options, but not nearly as many as what I'm hearing you talk about for direct mail.
Right. Yeah, there's just a tremendous amount of data that's out there. And then the other thing is there's so much versatility on the actual formats and the pieces that are available in
Yeah.
direct mail. And the other thing is it has a lifetime that no other advertising does. I, have you ever tried to save a digital ad?
No, maybe screenshot it if I'm really
Yeah,
interesting.
that's it. And then you lose
Yeah,
all the interactivity and
right.
what it's in your pictures.
Yeah,
With a direct mail piece, you just stick in your cubby in the kitchen. It's there,
yeah, yeah,
done, and you come back and look at it later.
yeah.
So it has that tactile. It's actually a physical piece of mail that can be filed and saved, and you look at it, you show it to others. It's easy to share. Um, where once a digital ad displays, very few people ever save an ad,
Yeah.
let alone read them. Um, you know, and a lot of people say, well, digital is so much cheaper. It is and it isn't, because you really want to look at what was the actual cost of acquisition, not the cost per impression.
Right.
And when you look at mailing or using digital programs, most of the time when you're looking at counts, it's in the hundreds of thousands or millions of impressions. And granted, they might only be a penny a piece, but if it takes 5,000 impressions or 10,000 impressions to get a response, it would be a lot cheaper to mail out. It might cost you $500 to get a response, and you might get one for $120 using direct mail, or $60 getting direct mail. Because instead of 1 in 10,000, you might be getting a 1 in 100, 1 in 150. So 1% response rate, or a 1.5, instead of a 0.0001% response rate like you do in digital. So you really have to look at what is that actual true cost of acquisition, and versus the cost of the impression. There's a
And
lot of
how do
people say
you
direct mail is too expensive, when in reality it could be a lot cheaper than other types of advertising.
and how do people do attribution? How have you seen it done well with direct mail pieces? What are some things that
Oh, it's
colleges can think
actually
about?
the easiest advertising to do attribution of any,
Okay.
because you have the list. You know exactly who you mailed to. You say, okay, here's the 20,000 people we mailed to, and you match them back, and you say, how many of these people signed up? How many of these
Yeah.
people registered?
Yeah.
Oh, look, out of the 20,000, 246 registered. Now, here's where the big problem comes in. You have the digital team that's saying, they saw our digital ads. So we don't really know. Did they sign up because of the digital ads or because of the direct mail? So there's a really easy solution. You take the 20,000 names and you carve 4,000 out. You say, we're only going to mail 16. Or you order 24 and you mail 20. And then you do the match back of the 20,000 you mailed to and the 4,000 you didn't mail to. And you say, okay, out of the 20,000 we mailed to, we got a 1.2% response rate.
Mm.
So that's pretty good. So
Okay.
1.2% of the people that got the mail piece actually signed up for a catalog.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't register, but they signed up for a catalog. And then you do the match back of the 4,000 that didn't mail, that got the digital advertising. So they got everything else. And they had a 0.3% response rate.
Yeah.
So now you say, hey, great job, digital team. You got a 0.3% response rate. And then the incremental lift provided by the direct mail is a 0.9%.
Okay.
So it might not be the full 1.2%, because that 0.3% might have signed up anyways. Now, here's the other factor, is you start to have where 1 + 1 = 3. So imagine yourself as a consumer and you get a mail piece that talks about these great new programs that the local college has. And you're thinking, that's pretty cool. I've kind of always wanted to learn about European cooking.
Yeah.
Or I've wanted to get my fitness certification, or I've wanted to get my EMT, whatever it is. And it sits in the cut and
Right.
you don't do anything about it. Out
Yeah.
of sight, out of mind. And 3 days later, the digital ad comes across. Like, that's right. I was interested in this. and you click the digital ad to sign up because it's a lot easier. Now you don't have to type in the URL. So it was the direct mail piece that did the heavy lifting and got you interested in it. But then it was the digital ad that gave you a convenient way to convert and sign up.
Right.
So you have that combination of a very content-rich promotional piece that really can tell a story, get somebody engaged and want to do it and create the demand. And then you have the digital ad that gives them the convenient way to convert.
Yeah.
So by using the two together, it's 1 + 1 = 3.
That's great. That's great. And that's how a campaign should work, is you want to have multiple touch
Absolutely.
points. Yeah.
And that way
And it,
everybody's happy.
and it becomes more affordable when you're thoughtful about the targeting. So it goes back to the original conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at the program, you figure out who's interested in it, you purchase the list based on their past behaviors and their interests. Now you have an affordable campaign that you can do both in print and in digital.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
What about creative? I know you've worked with so many colleges and universities. Do you have any advice on how to make your pieces stand out? What should we be thinking about?
How do higher education decision makers find the right solution when technology evolves at light speed? Well, we usually start with our network. EdTech Connect is the network that's democratizing the higher ed technology conversation. EdTech Connect is free, so anyone with a .edu email address can sign up and list the software and services they use in their role at their school. Once you're in, you can find out what solutions similar schools are doing all over the country. Whether you're looking to find the hot new AI tool, or maybe learn options you have to upgrade your campus search engine, or even get to your short list of marketing solution vendors, EdTech Connect is the place to go. So visit edtechconnect.com and set up your free profile to get a pulse for what's happening with higher ed technology today.
I do. And a lot of people say, I'll ask, what's better right now, a letter or a postcard?
Okay, that's great.
And the answer is yes. Here's the thing. It has to have graphical impact. Look, even the old people today are Gen Xers.
That's weird. I don't
That's
want
a
to think
scary thought.
about that.
That's a scary thought. Gen Xers are now in their 60s.
Yeah.
They went and got old on us.
Yeah.
And I'm like right on the border of Gen X and baby boomers. So I'm like right on the cusp.
Yeah.
But these are people that grew up with MTV, early adopters in technology. They want information now, and they're now overwhelmed by messages, overwhelmed by activity. And that's on the old side.
Right.
Then you have, Gen Y, Gen Z, millennials. You have the younger generations. They are completely overwhelmed by digital.
Yeah.
It's even gotten to the point where, Facebook has become the new MySpace.
Yes, that's true.
And once parents get on that, whatever the platform is, the kids have no interest in being there anymore.
No.
And it's starting to happen to Instagram now. So they're all kind of going through their cycles. The kids of all, or I don't want to say the kids, but the younger generations are very, very adept at ad blockers.
Mm.
So they've got ad blockers on their phones, on their desktops, on their tablets. They don't even look at their email anymore. And people started trying to reach them on text, and it's just not an acceptable thing to text somebody a business proposition, or to advertise using text. That's kind of for communication only. And they're just very overwhelmed by digital media right now. And they're actually responding extremely well to direct mail because it's at their own leisure.
Right.
And it's kind of a cool retro thing. And because of how targeted it is, the pieces they're getting actually apply to them. They're not getting ads for pool cleaning. They don't have a pool.
Yeah.
They're getting things that actually interest them because of the data.
Right.
So my recommendation is, whether you use letters or whether you use postcards or self mailers, make them graphical in nature, have that graphical impact, and capture somebody's attention.
Right.
And too many times people will take a letter and stick it on a postcard and say, well, we used to mail a letter. And then they have this copy heavy postcard that really doesn't have any graphical impact, and then wonder why it failed.
Yeah.
So you have to capture somebody's attention. And the best way to capture somebody's attention is something that is near and dear to them.
Right.
And people always try to sell their product or service, or in colleges, they try to sell their program on the mail piece. You just want to get the person to sign up for something, get them to come to an open house, an open campus day, have them get a catalog, have them talk to a counselor, drive that first activity that would lead to them signing up. Maybe let them know about a new student aid program. Sign up for this and look at this new world of information that's at your fingertips. Yeah. But we based on all the information we have on you, you would qualify for the student aid program. Really easy to apply. And then we can talk to you about all the different options at your disposal. But get that first engagement. Until you have that first engagement, it's really, really hard to sell a complete curriculum on a mail piece. And yeah, too many universities try to sell that or college campuses try to sell that, the curriculum, and not that first engagement.
I know. I have some college presidents where I'm like, nobody's gonna come sign up for an associate degree in nursing because they saw your Facebook ad. Like it's a whole journey somebody takes, right?
And the thing is, somebody would sign up for nursing because they're not happy with their life the way it is now.
Right.
And we were doing a program for National University a while ago, their MBA program. And what we did is we targeted people with an undergraduate degree in a business-related topic that were underachievers. So we looked at people that were making less than $40,000 a year. Right. So this is somebody that spent 4 or 5 years in college, spent a lot of their money or their parents' money,
right?
Got a degree, and they're not quite living the lifestyle that they expected.
Right.
Something fell apart. And it was all about lifestyle. It was all about, what's keeping you from doing the things you really want to do? Yeah. Here's a great opportunity. And we did that for law school. We did it for business school. We did it for different programs. And it did very, very well. It got people to come to these open houses and learn about the programs. But it was more about kind of that pain point, identifying a pain point that somebody has. And then how do you eliminate that pain from your life? Well, here's an option.
Right.
So when you, instead of trying to say, hey, this is a great program, and it's only a year and a half, and you can become a nurse, and nursing is wonderful, and why would somebody want to do that? That's what you have to look at. Right. What would be the driving force? I don't know a lot of people that would look at what a nurse does. Anybody who's been in the hospital.
Oh, no.
And sees
what I'm in marketing. I don't want to touch people.
What do you do for a living? Nobody would look at that and say, this looks fun.
Yeah, I know.
I think, sorry to any of the nurses that are watching. I love what you do.
Yeah. Well,
but it doesn't look fun.
It's such a good reminder that when you are marketing, you need to put the person you're marketing to first. It's not our program and our services, right?
I always say, be the consumer. Like, imagine you getting the mail list. And in my seminars, you haven't been to one of them yet, but I have a whole section where I talk about, don't talk about yourself. Don't talk about how great your company is. Nobody cares. It's all about what's in it for them. Identify with the needs of your recipient, and then what are the benefits to them that will fix their problem.
Right.
And then marketers have always been taught features and benefits, focus on features and benefits, features and benefits. Go to the benefit first. National made the mistake of promoting the fact that they have these, I forgot what they called it, but they were these 6-week courses that were these like intensives where
Right.
you only took one class at a time, but it was only 6 weeks long. But you would go like 3 hours a day, and then you had 3 hours of study time each day. And these were for working people. And you would, in the same amount of time, you would get the same amount of credits, but you would do it one class at a time. But they never talked about the benefit.
Right. Why would you want to why would you want to do that? Like,
why would you want to do it?
Right.
And once they talk about the benefit, that it gives you the flexibility to very quickly take these courses that you need to take. And really, we found that if you put all your focus in one class instead of 3 or 4 different classes at the same time, you actually complete the course faster and you have better retention and recall.
Right.
So if they had said, look, the problem with taking multiple classes is this.
Yeah.
You don't remember it, and it's very hard to test at the end. And it takes too much study time. If we compress it, it actually takes less of your time to complete the same curriculum.
Right.
That's why we do what we do.
Right.
So identify the pain point, fix it with the benefits,
Yeah.
and then talk about the features after you've already shared the benefits.
And that's a perfect example because if their target audience is working adults, your pain point is time. It's just time and money. Like, do you really want to give up what little time you have in your schedule to invest in more education? And so
and that was their main target were
Right.
working people that already had careers, and they were trying to help them better their careers
Right.
through their educational program. So
Yeah.
these were people getting their MBAs.
Yeah.
And
it's
other
the same with our
graduate
community
programs.
college clients. Like most people coming back to community college right now are working adults.
Yep.
And, these are the type of messages we should be thinking about because they're sacrificing time because they have the hope that sacrifice is going to get them more money or more freedom, more opportunities. So we've got to convince them it's worth their time. And it's hard to do that in a tiny little digital ad.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, what percentage of people going to community colleges today are there because it's mandatory curriculum to get a degree, or because I always wanted to learn this?
Yeah.
I always thought it'd really be cool if I could, and then they go back to school.
Well, and there are a lot of programs that are set up just for people like that. Like you could go over to Miracosta, you can learn to make beer, you can become a wine taster, and you could do all these fun classes, and they're just
commercial
for fun.
Cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of them are serious classes. Like I've thought of going back and taking math again.
Oh, wow, you're a brave man.
No, I have to take navigation. I work on the boat all the time, and I'm constantly figure stuff out to build things. And I'm almost thinking of going back, taking like an engineering class, mechanical engineering, because there's parts as an old boat. I have to remanufacture parts and have parts machined. So being able to actually draw the parts out myself and take those to machine shop. So I thought about going back and going back to school for those types of classes. So it's serious curriculum, but it's more of to support the things that I like to do and I plan on doing for my next career.
Well, I am going to pass on to the director of marketing at Miracosta that there are a couple hundred people down in Oceanside Harbor that might like a math class. I bet she'd be excited to hear that. Can you get mail on a boat?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh no,
Yeah,
you get a P.O. box.
you get a okay.
Yeah, you have to get a P.O. box here in the
Yeah,
Army.
yeah.
But it's funny, I took calculus in high school. Heck, if I can remember any of it.
I know. No way. But this is a practical application. That's great.
Exactly.
One of the things I've been having success with some of my clients with direct mail is retargeting. So we will have a pixel put on a website, and then a postcard will be mailed to those people who
Yep.
can be identified. And what we're using those postcards for, and you've already touched on this, is either for an open house. So it's not just a random postcard with more information about
Right.
the college. It's inviting people to an open house, or it's an invitation to make a connection with a academic counselor. And
Mhm.
we're having such great success with these retargeting postcards. Events are up, counseling appointments are up. So it's been a really great tactic for us.
That's great. And that's one of the things that direct mail really stands out on too now. And the new technology advances make programs like that possible. And for the people in the audience that don't quite know what the postal retargeting is, we've all seen digital retargeting. You go to a website and then they bombard you with digital ads for eternity, and you get 50, 100 digital ads. And the problem with that is, say we go on 20, 30 sites a day,
Yeah.
we see a lot of digital ads. So we constantly see, whenever we're doing searches, all the ads are popping up from all the different sites we've been to. Well, postal retargeting is a tag that's placed on the site that, instead of grabbing an IP address and sending you a digital ad, we're actually able to take a first party cookie and convert that to a postal address and then send a card out the next day. So we can now send a postcard driving people to a certain activity, and it can be done per page.
Yeah.
So the open house page, the open house cards might come to somebody who is within a certain distance of the school. And you say, okay, we want everybody within 20 miles, or in these 28 zip codes, would all get a card if they came to this college's website.
Right.
And it could be only people that actually went and looked at the different classes that are available, or only a certain category of classes that are available. So they're going through a certain portion of the catalog, and they say, okay, only people that went to any business related subjects would actually get this card.
Yeah.
If they went to other maybe language associated classes or curriculum, they would get this card. So it allows you to have different cards going to different groups.
Yeah, and I love it. And what we're hearing from clients is at these open houses, people are carrying the postcard. They're like, they bring it with them to the open house. So they know that that's how they got there. So we're having great luck with that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap up our conversation and you hit the 4 o'clock hour on your boat, any other tips or tricks that you want to share with the marketers?
Yeah, one big one. All the time people ask, well, do you think this is a good idea? Could be. Like, I've seen some crazy stuff work in my time. I've been in this industry for 30 years. I have sat down with a client and said, I don't think it's going to work, but let's try it. And it worked great. And that's how I learned. Test all the time. Don't stop testing. If somebody comes up with an idea and it has some weight, try it. It doesn't mean mail the equal amount, but once you're going to test into your champion piece. So you're going to have a certain piece that works really well because you've tested it into that position. And once you have that, constantly test against it. Create a challenger every time you mail. So you might mail 50,000 of your champion, mail 10,000 of a challenger, and see percentage-wise if you can beat that champion. And that's how you end up beating the champion, is constantly testing and testing.
Great. That is great advice. And this is something that I think a lot of college marketers are guilty of not doing because they're so busy that
Yep.
they don't take the time to test, but it doesn't take that much time to do that.
No, it doesn't. And
Yeah.
we've had people in the beginning, their cost of acquisition was $200. And after a year of testing, we brought that cost of acquisition to 80,
Right.
60, 50.
Yeah.
The payoff on constant testing is enormous.
Right.
So do it. So that is my closing piece of advice.
Well, I love it. And I've learned so much from you, Keith. Thank you so much. And I'm going to start paying attention to more to the pieces I get in the mail and think
Well,
about, okay,
good.
what are my behaviors triggering that I'm getting these
Hey, by the
pieces?
way, we're doing a live seminar here in June in San Diego.
Oh, great.
You've got to come down to it.
I would love to. Okay.
The Sheraton Mission Valley. I think
Okay.
it's on June 18th.
June 18th. All right. I'm going to write it down.
All right.
June 18th. And maybe some of our San Diego clients would like to come and join me. So I'll extend the
That'd be
invitation
awesome.
to them. Yeah. And then you could take us out on your boat.
We'll
All
talk.
right.
You don't even have to wait that long to come out on the boat. We'll set it up.
Well, thank you so much, Keith. It's been a great conversation. I've learned a lot talking from you, and I'm sure our college marketers have as well.
All right. Thanks.